Good morning! Today is July 2nd, 2020, and we thought we would take you on a little tour of our garden and our homestead and show you what we've got going on. So come on along with us. So here's what's happening in the greenhouse. Our tomatoes have grown up like crazy. We ended up having to actually string them from the ceiling to keep them from falling over. We have some broccoli in the back corner there that has bolted and is going to be turned into frozen greens and stems for soup. And then we also have about 9 hot pepper plants and 3 habaneros I just planted earlier this week, and then a couple more tomato plants growing in here as well. Do you like your greenhouse? What's cool about the greenhouse?
Tomatoes are growing on leaves.
That's right. Good job. Here is our brand new chicken tractor, and these are our Cornish cross meat birds. We have 35 of them. Right now they're about 6 weeks old. We have about 2 more weeks left until we process them, and then we are going to be trading 10 of them for some corn and venison, giving 5 to my father-in-law, and then we will be sticking the rest in the freezer, and we'll probably do another batch a little bit later on in the fall. They're pretty homely and getting rather large. They eat a ton, they poop a ton, they drink a ton, and we move them across the grass here at least 3 times a day so they get access to fresh bugs and fresh grass, and they're pretty happy, except they're a little hot. It's about 90 something this morning here, so you'll see them panting a little bit. That's how they cool themselves down. This is our chicken run for our layers. We actually just put up another fence, you can see here, yesterday, and kind of segmented the pen off a little bit. They have been just annihilating the grass in here, and so we spread some new grass seed and have been watering it and are going to give it a little while, and we'll open up that side and then do grass seed on the other side and just go back and forth and back and forth. And also, after we get these meat birds into the freezer, we'll be using the chicken tractor for the egg-laying hens as well. But here they've got some nice shaded area to hang out when it gets really sunny. They also like to hang out underneath the hen house there. There's a couple of our younger hens are sitting right underneath the hen house there. And they are scratching a ton in the dirt for bugs right now. This is Goldie. She's our oldest hen, the most senior member of the flock, and she is the head girl around here. Welcome to our 2020 garden. Over here we have our squash bed, and we've got some cucumbers growing, and behind those there are bush zucchini plants, and we also have in here some butternut squash and cantaloupe. And we're trying something new this year with this kind of trellis system. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we're trying to train these vines to kind of climb up so that we can pick the fruit from the inside. And I'll show you what the other side looks like here. So I'm hoping to be able to kind of crawl through the middle and harvest the fruit out of here. These guys are pretty happy. We've got cantaloupe flowers. I'm so excited. This is our tomato bed. We have about 3 different varieties of tomatoes growing in here right now. They are in desperate need of staking, so we will be doing that a little bit later on this evening when it gets a little bit cooler outside. They're starting to get pretty bushy, and also starting to grow some flowers too. Over here we have some rogue squash that grew up out of nowhere. I think I've got cucumbers, and I believe that these are Hubbard squash down here. And then this is also our broccoli bed. My broccoli, as you can see, went to flower on me mostly this year. There are a couple of plants in here that might still produce a head, not really sure. But just like the broccoli in the greenhouse, we will be taking the leaves and freezing those and using them for greens in the winter. And then the stalks we'll chop up and blanch as well, and we'll use those pureed in soup. So nothing goes to waste. In this next bed we have a lot of carrots that are rainbow carrots. I love pulling these when it's time to harvest them. You never know what color you're going to get. It's kind of fun for the kids and for myself as well. And then we have some cherry bomb peppers, and these little guys right here are actually bell peppers. They did not germinate very well for us this year, so they are very, very far behind. I'm not sure what's going to happen with those, but they're in the ground. Then we have our rainbow Swiss chard. We've got red and yellow. You can see the color. A little bitty bit of kale. That didn't germinate well for us this year either. A couple of hot pepper plants. This is what's left of our romaine lettuce. This is the first year that I've planted this variety. Actually, I don't think I'll do it again next year. I didn't particularly care for the way that the leaves kind of got brown and dried out on the outside. And I just like the mixture of greens that we did last year a little bit better. So going forward, I think in the fall we will probably plant some more of the mixed greens in the greenhouse and see how those do for us over the winter. This mess right here are our sugar snap peas. I just picked a bunch this morning and shelled some, and then we will eat some just fresh from the pod as well. I think I planted them a little bit too tight this year, but they are producing really nicely for us, so there's that. Next year we may try a variety that has a purple pod, which are a little bit easier to see when you're trying to pick them. And then over here we have our green beans. You can see the pretty purple flowers and little teeny tiny beans that are just starting to grow here. We have 2 varieties that we're growing this year. We have Kentucky Wonder, and then I'm actually growing on this side the white flowers. These are what's called calypso beans or yin and yang beans, and you can eat them either fresh or dried, and they're really, really beautiful. On the end here we have our yellow onions, and we have been harvesting greens from these all season and are hoping that they produce some nice bulbs for us towards the fall. And then on this side we have our raspberries growing up along the fence row here. These are second year raspberries. I'm hoping they produce some fruit for us this year. I have some that I planted last year on the other side that actually came from my grandfather's and grandmother's house that are quite a bit shorter, and I don't think they're going to fruit this year, but hopefully next year they will. We have a few random squash that we interplanted with our perennials this year, as well as a couple of tomato plants that are just hanging out in the flower garden. Earlier this week we pulled all of our garlic cloves from the bed and are currently stringing them on our kids' play place. Used some old rope and a scrap piece of chicken wire to hang them, and they'll be out here drying for the next week and a half or so, and then we'll braid them and hang them in our basement. So that about does it for our July 2020 Homestead and Garden Tour. It is super duper hot out here. I'm sweating like crazy. I think it's probably in the mid 80s at least this morning, and it's gonna get hotter and hotter, and it's supposed to be like this for the rest of the week at least, and probably into next week as well. So hopefully all of our vegetables hold up and we get a little bit of rain here and there and everything should be just great. If you enjoy our content and would like to see more, please don't forget to subscribe down below and check out our website at northernsimpleliving.com. Thanks a lot for watching and have a happy 4th of July.